Today's episode is all about the lies. Yes, lies that you've been fed that are keeping you stuck, shrinking, and second guessing your power. We're going to unpack the three biggest myths that keep us smart, capable, heart driven women playing small, but more importantly, how to start breaking free from them. So get comfy and let's dive in. Myth number one: I should be grateful for what I have. Yeah, this one hits deep and we're starting strong. So, gratitude is powerful, yes, but toxic gratitude, because that exists and it's a trap. So, you were probably raised to believe that wanting more meant that you were ungrateful, that you were selfish, that if you already had the house, the job, the relationship, you shouldn't complain. Like, who are you to want more? You've worked so hard to get where you are and to have what you have. Why are you going to feel like you want more? How ungrateful can you be? You should be content. You should be happy that you've achieved all of this and now you're done. You should just stop. Well, this is something that I can definitely relate to because, as most of you know my story by now, I worked hard for that corporate job, that amazing career that looked great on paper, that got me the lifestyle that I always wanted. And according to everyone else and society and rules, we'll put them in quote unquote, that I was done. And I should be grateful for what I had, and I should not even fathom wanting more. But you all know that I did want more. And had I not followed that calling inside me, we would not be here today. And I would not be speaking to you on this platform. And I would not be doing what I do. So there's definitely something to be said in recognizing that gratitude can actually be toxic, and to feel like you should not want more, that's definitely a trap. And that's a myth. So the myth again is I should be grateful for what I have. Yes, but what if I told you that gratitude and desire can coexist? You can be grateful for what you have, for how hard you've worked, for what you've accomplished, but you could still want more and still feel unfulfilled. And that's what happened to me. So that doesn't make you greedy. It doesn't make you selfish. It just makes you honest. And that's what I want to talk about today, the honesty of it all. So many of us live in this glass house where we need to keep up appearances, where everything needs to look good. And if we've accomplished everything that we've set out to do and you check off all the boxes, then you're done. And just the thought of wanting more leaves you feeling like you're ungrateful. So I want us to look at honestly, what else could there be for us? Like, why would you want to be at a point where you're maybe in your 30s, your 40s, you've achieved everything and amazing, good for you. You have all these accomplishments, awesome. But then what does that mean? Life stops. That you stop achieving, you stop going for more, you stop striving. Just because you've achieved everything doesn't mean you stop yearning for more. Just because you've achieved everything, what are you going to stop making goals for yourself? Or are you just going to coast through the rest of your life? So here's the perspective shift that I want to offer us, where if we look at it that way, that if your life is just a set of goals that you want to achieve, with the goal, the ultimate goal, feeling like you are fulfilled and have meaning and purpose, then every goal we accomplish and we celebrate and we're grateful for leads us to the next goal. So I don't necessarily see that as selfish anymore. I see that as wanting to be a better person, to have a better life. But when you find yourself starting to force happiness, if you find yourself in the trap of feeling like I should be happy, well, I want to ask you something. According to who? Are you living by someone else's rules? Are you chasing someone else's version of happiness? Are you forcing happiness in places where you think it's going to happen? Because the reality is, there is a science of happiness. And most of us are looking for happiness in the wrong places, in the material things, in the things that are not sustainable, that don't have longevity, the things that will leave us feeling void after that initial dose or hit of happiness. So I want to ask you to start getting honest. What is the happiness that you are chasing? And if you feel like you have to chase something, that's also a sign that maybe we're not going about it in the most effective way. What if happiness is something that you find in the moment, is something that you can experience anytime, anywhere? Right now, let's do an exercise together. I want you to close your eyes and think of one thing that you are happy about that brings you joy in this moment. And we can also turn that into a gratitude practice. What is one thing you are grateful for? I like to use joy. When someone brought this to my attention, I feel like if we look for joy, it brings us up that ladder and that scale of happiness a little quicker because I feel like gratitude, yes, we're grateful for our health, our home. But joy, we rarely get to look for those opportunities that bring us joy and that can maybe make us smile a little more. So that I feel personally has a closer tie to happiness. So if you can point out the areas in your life or the moments of your life that bring you joy, you can actually start to see that happiness is all around. Happiness is where you look for it, is where you find it. It's not something that needs to be earned, chased after. It's something that you can have anytime you want. And what are these moments of your life that you are building to create this happiness whenever you'd like? So that brings us back to the myth. I should be grateful for what I have. Yes, absolutely. But you're also allowed to want more. And if you're staying in a life that looks good on paper but feels flat in your body, well, that's not gratitude. That's settling. That's resignation. That's disconnecting. And you definitely don't have to settle for less than you want. You're allowed to want more because you're grateful and not in spite of it. Myth number two, it's selfish to prioritize myself. Okay. This one can be particularly activating for high performing achievers and people pleasers. Hello. You've probably spent years, even decades, putting everyone else first. Your job, your family, your partner, your friends, your pets. Hi, my cats always come first. Yes. Everyone else's needs before your own. You've spent your life always prioritizing them because you're a good girl, you're a nice person, you're kind. You've been taught that, the role that especially women have is making sure that everyone else around them is okay and they never think of themselves and put their needs last, right? So being the good woman means being selfless. But here's the truth that I want to share with you today. Selflessness is not the same as love. And self neglect is not noble, it's dangerous. So let me say this clearly. Taking care of your needs, your energy, your joy, that's not selfish, that's responsible. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you shouldn't have to. So when you make yourself the priority, you model something powerful. And especially if you're a mother or a leader, you're showing others what it looks like to live with integrity. And in my workshops and even in the client work I do, we do a powerful life audit that makes this crystal clear. When women see how low on the list that they've placed themselves, they get emotional because the truth is, you're not here to just serve everyone else's story. You're here to write your own. You are the main character of your life story. So stop playing the supporting role. Yeah, it's fun to be the best friend who's always happy and who's always there for everybody, but like it's time to step into the main character role. And myth number three, I need to have it all figured out before I start. Ooh, this was a big one for me, especially when I started my business and also being a recovering perfectionist. I needed to have everything planned out, figured out, prepped before I felt like I could take the leap. But it's a trap. It's a perfectionist trap because we're all waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect version of ourselves before we take the leap. Does this sound familiar? I'll just wait to have this amount of money in the bank account. I'll wait till so and so is ready to help me. I'll wait till I have all of the knowledge and all of the certifications to truly launch my business. I'll wait until I have a team behind me to really take the leap. But here's what I've learned from myself and from coaching women all these years, that clarity comes from action, not from overthinking. You're stuck in your head and you're making pros and cons lists and you're weighing things out and you're planning to a fault. You're Googling and now using ChatGPT to figure out when is the best time to leave my job and when is the best time to launch something and how do I do that? This is causing you to get caught in procrastination. But you're not alone. I've been there too. I procrastinated thinking I was moving forward because I was actually doing something. Like when you're planning and prepping and analyzing and figuring things out, you still feel like you're contributing, that you're working towards something. You're not procrastinating in the sense of like just sitting back and not doing anything. So that's where it becomes a trap because you don't realize that the procrastination that's happening is the procrastination of you actually going for it, of you taking the leap. And what if I told you that that's just your body, your nervous system, and your brain trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you in your comfort zone? So let's thank it. Let's say, I appreciate you trying to keep me safe in my familiar comfort zone, in my surroundings, but it's time to play big. It's time to be able to move forward and do something that I know I'm capable of. And maybe I don't have all the answers, and that's okay. I just need to take the first step. And the more steps I take forward towards that direction of my goal, the clearer that plan will become. I will figure it out along the way. So you don't need a 5-year plan. You just need the courage to take that first step. And that is something that I truly learned for myself. When I launched my coaching business, yes, I got stuck in the over planning and the perfectionist trap of needing to have so many certifications or needing to learn everything before I officially launch. But some wise words from my father, yes, shout out to him. Wise words he told me were, you just got to do it. Stop planning, stop thinking you need to know more. You just need the experience now. So you need to go for it. And I did. And then I had clients come in and then I got more experience. And then the plan and the way I was going to develop my coaching then became clear as I started coaching clients and being in the experience of it. So even figuring out the type of coach I wanted to be in the beginning, I had an idea, but not until I was actually hands-on and in the work and with the people and experiencing what coaching meant for me did I fully understand what I appreciated, what I didn't like about coaching, and which direction I wanted to go in. So you need to get your hands dirty. You need to get in there and really experience it for yourself to then have the clarity to know what it is that you want to do moving forward. And the more steps you take, the more courageous you are, that then leads to confidence because it's something that's built. Confidence is built. And I've said this so many times. I have so many episodes about confidence. So you know by now that confidence is not something that just happens. Confidence is something that you build through doing the scary thing before you feel ready. So confidence, if you're looking for it comes through action. It comes through doing the thing, even if it's scary, even if you have fear. The courage is what you need to allow yourself to take that first step. And then the more steps you take whilst feeling scared and unfamiliar and unknown and uncertain, that's what's going to build the confidence because then you're going to look back and be like, I did it. I did it despite the fear or embracing the fear. And this is the type of work that I now love to do with my clients. So many clients come to me with wanting to build their confidence. So, of course, what do? We work on what is that first step that you want to take towards your goal. We get clear on what is your goal and really anchor into what is that desire, what will make them happy. And then instead of figuring out the 20-step plan, we say, what is step number one? And does it feel a little unfamiliar to you? Does it feel a little scary? And if the answer is yes, I encourage you to go for it. And then as you take those steps, the plan will unfold. The clarity will come with the action because now you're getting closer and you're getting the experience of what you're wanting to do. And then you'll have more information to be able to have a clearer roadmap of what it is that you want to do. And these are the types of workshops I do as well. And there is an element of mindset reframing, and it's literally shifting the thoughts that you're keeping stuck because 99% of the time, it's not that you don't know what to do, it's that you're afraid of what will actually happen if you do it. What if you fail? What if people judge you? What if you can't handle it? But here's the invitation. Flip that. What if it does work? What if it's the beginning of the life you've been craving? What if you actually become the woman you've always known you are meant to be? And that's the reframe that's going to help you to tap into that courage to take that first step. So let's recap the myths that are keeping you playing small. Number one, I should just be grateful. No, you're allowed to want more. Number two, it's selfish to prioritize myself. No, prioritizing yourself is the most self-respecting thing you can do. And it's a beautiful kind of behavior to model if you're in a position of being a mother or a leader. And number three, I need to have it all figured out. No, you just need to start. So, as you can see, these myths can be sneaky. They show up as logic, as politeness, as responsibility. So, it's all things that maybe you are disguising as these attributes that you maybe want so that you accept them. But really, it's fear in disguise. It's fear of judgment, it's fear of failure, it's fear of being too much and not being accepted for exactly who you are. Because if you are brave enough to want more, to prioritize yourself, and to just start without having it all figured out, well, that requires you putting yourself out there, being seen, and that's vulnerable. So, of course, these defense mechanisms kick in, and these myths are just here to protect you. It's your brain trying to keep you safe in your comfort zone so that you don't put yourself out there where you are available for judgment, ridicule, misunderstanding, lack of acceptance, right? These are all things that we're avoiding. So the body and the brain are beautifully wired to just keep us protected and safe. And once we realize that, then we can start to insource that safety within us and understand that it's okay if I put myself out there. Physically, I'm safe. Mentally, emotionally, maybe I'm a little vulnerable, but what if I can shift that perspective and focus on the why? Why am I putting myself out there? What is it that I want to accomplish? And if I am met with judgment, how can I help myself to not take it personally? And that's a whole other episode. But for today, I want you to really challenge these myths, to call them out, to get curious to see what is it that I am protecting? What is it trying to keep me safe from? What is my fear? And when you know that fear, you're able to help to embrace it, to work with it, to meet it. And sometimes all at once is a metaphorical hug. So by you just acknowledging the fear, okay, so I need to feel ready before taking action of launching my business, personal story, because the fear is if I put myself out there, what if I fail? What if I'm rejected? What if people don't accept me as being a coach? Okay, well, that's what it's trying to keep me safe from, this myth and these actions of procrastinating. So now that I know that that is my inner fear, how can I look at it differently? How can I embrace it? How can I welcome it? Okay, welcoming the fear of being rejected, of being not accepted. How does it feel in my body? It hurts, but I'm okay. If I allow myself to feel it and I really embrace what that feels like in my body, then the feeling's like, okay, that's all I needed. I needed to be seen and heard. And yeah, it could still be scary, but it's not as bad as I thought to the point where I don't have to protect myself because I felt it already. So it's not that scary. And sometimes that's all our feelings want to just be seen, heard, felt. And then we realize, hey, it's not that scary. So I don't really have to be that afraid. Because now here's a mindset shift for you. What is scarier? The fear of being rejected or the fear of never having known what it felt like to try and never knowing what it could have been if I didn't go for it? The regret. And for me, the regret is scarier than the potential fear of rejection, which, by the way, is all projected from my mind, from my ability to try to keep myself safe. So there's no facts here. No one has come out and been like, you are not credible. Like that's all in my mind. So let's just acknowledge that fears are our projections. And once we embrace them, we welcome them, we say, thank you for keeping me safe. But we start to reframe them and see them in a different way and say, who am I without this fear? What is it that I really want? Well, for me, the desire to show up and serve people and help has led me here. So this is my driver. This is what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to, again, embrace the fear. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but we're okay. We're going to take the risk. We're going to take the leap because what's on the other side is more interesting to me than just staying small and playing small. So if you're ready for support on this journey, because I understand it's hard to do it alone and you don't have to do it alone, I'd love to walk beside you. I'd love to guide you. I've got some free workshops coming up to help you with this kind of work, to help you really identify what are those limiting beliefs, what are those fears keeping you stuck, and how to start reframing them, embracing them, moving forward, and taking those action steps to really help yourself build confidence and create a life that you love and that you can find happiness in every single day.